All right, today we're jumping into a story about a huge breakthrough in protein prediction. And look, we're not just talking about faster computers or some clever new code here. This is a fundamental shift, something that's literally changing the rules of open science and our ability to understand the very building blocks of life. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we'll get into the protein prediction race, then we'll introduce the main event, OpenFold3. We're also going to talk about why being open matters so much, give a shout out to the unsung hero Data, and wrap up by looking at what this all means for the future of discovery.
So, for a long time, one of the biggest puzzles in all of biology has been figuring out the crazy complex three-dimensional shapes of proteins. I mean, think about it. It's like trying to understand how a car engine works without ever getting to see the blueprint. That's what scientists were up against. Okay, so things really kicked into high gear back in 2021. That's when the Baker lab dropped Rosetta Fold, and it was a total game changer. It was fast, it was super accurate, and this is the crucial part, it was open source. All of a sudden, researchers all over the world had these incredibly powerful tools at their fingertips. It basically democratized the whole field overnight. But as you can see, that was just the start of the race. And that race, well, it's led to something pretty incredible, a breakthrough. We're talking about a new model that isn't just a small step forward. No, this thing builds a completely new foundation for how we understand molecular biology. So, what exactly happened? What was this big moment? Well, in October 2025, the OpenFold consortium just dropped a bombshell, a release that sent absolute shockwaves to the entire scientific community.
They gave us OpenFold3. Now, the key phrase you gotta remember is foundation model. This is not just another specialized tool. It's a massive system trained on an almost unbelievable amount of data. We're talking over 13 million synthetic structures, plus all the experimental ones we've gathered for decades. What that means is it has this incredibly deep, broad understanding of the molecular world.
You know, the best way to wrap your head around it is to think of it like this. It's like we just gave every single biologist on the planet a superpower. Seriously, the ability to see this intricate, beautiful dance of molecules in real time. It's like X-ray vision for the machinery of life itself. And this is why it's such a massive leap. We've gone way beyond just predicting the shape of one protein in isolation. Now, OpenFold3 can model how that protein interacts with everything else. We're talking DNA, RNA, those tiny molecules that become medicines, and other things called ligands. A ligand is basically just any molecule that latches onto a protein to do a job. So, you see, it's not just looking at the individual parts anymore, it's seeing the entire system at work.
But here's the thing. The tech itself is only half the story. The other half, and you could argue it's just as important, is about a choice, a philosophy. It's about the huge difference between doing science behind closed doors and doing it out in the open for everyone to see and build upon.
So first, let's just ask, why are we so obsessed with these shapes anyway? Well, in biology, there's a golden rule, and it's simple. Structure is function. The shape of a thing determines what it does. So if you can figure out the exact shape of a protein, you can understand its job, how it works, and crucially, how to fix it when it goes wrong. This is the absolute key to designing new medicines and understanding diseases. And that brings us right to the heart of the debate, this fundamental difference in approach. So on one side, you got models like AlphaFold3. No question, they're super powerful, but they operate as a black box. You can't see how they work. On the other side, you have OpenFold3. Its architecture is completely transparent. Anyone can reproduce its results, and its whole philosophy is community first. This is what science built to be shared actually looks like. Okay, now we get to what might be my favorite part of this whole story. Because none of this AI magic, none of it, would even be possible without the real unsung hero of this entire revolution, the data. Decades upon decades of painstakingly, carefully collected data.
You know the saying, standing on the shoulders of giants? Well, models like OpenFold3 are the perfect example. They're built on these massive, publicly funded databases, things like the Protein Data Bank and UniProt. For generations, scientists from every corner of the globe have been adding their findings piece by piece to these giant libraries. So this isn't a story about one company or one lab having a breakthrough. It's the amazing result of a huge collective human effort.
And that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle. What does all of this actually mean for the future? Well, it means that OpenFold3 isn't the finish line, not at all. It's the starting line for a whole new kind of race.
Yeah, this quote really nails it. It captures the spirit of this breakthrough perfectly. See, OpenFold3 isn't just another tool that scientists can use. It's a platform.
It's a foundation. You can even think of it as a launch pad, a place where countless new discoveries, new tools, and brand new ideas are going to be built.
And the impact? Oh, it's going to be real and it's going to be tangible. We're talking about being able to design new drugs with atomic-level precision, drugs that hit the disease and leave healthy cells alone. We're talking about engineering brand new enzymes that can, say, eat plastic waste in our oceans or create biofuels. And maybe, for the first time, we'll get to truly understand the molecular roots of complex diseases. I mean, the possibilities, they're just staggering.
So, this all leaves us with a pretty profound question, doesn't it? For the very first time in human history, the blueprint for the machinery of life is becoming an open book. It's accessible to anyone, anywhere with a good idea. The only question that's left for us to answer is, with this incredible power, what will we, as a global community, choose to build?